Hi, my name is Yusef Ramelize. I'm the co-founder of Hyphens and Spaces.
Hi, my name is Samira Abdul-Karim. I'm the other co-founder of Hyphens and Spaces.
So we're going to start off, we've been getting this question a lot from people. And so Samira and I decided to make this video, short video about, what's the difference between DEI and anti-racism work.
You're right, Yusuf. We get that question a lot from clients, or actually we get a lot of people saying, I want to do anti-racism work. And I'm always like, are you sure?
Yeah.
And so we thought it'd be helpful to kind of explain the difference in our perspective, at least. So I like to think of it that, first of all, there's several different definitions of diversity, equity, and inclusion for DEI, right? And there's also different definitions of anti-racism. But when we're thinking about all of those various definitions of DEI, I think one thing that they have in common is that there is this interest in creating an environment for people of multiple different identities that is fair and where they feel like they belong, and like regardless of your background. Whereas anti-racism work, as you can imagine, is specifically focused on race. And though doing anti-racism work can make your environment really accessible to a lot of people of different backgrounds, the focus is really reducing racial bias and removing the ways that racial bias exists in our systems. And another important difference is that anti-racism work really presumes that racism exists, it's a fact, and it's our role to dismantle it and find out where it exists and get rid of it. Whereas DEI doesn't necessarily presume that there is there's not inclusion, there's not diversity, there's not equity, right? There's not that automatic presumption that there is something that we're working against. Whereas anti-racism, there is. So it might sound small, but it's actually a really important philosophical difference. Because if we're going into an environment and we're saying we're gonna do anti-racism work, well, then that means that everybody needs to be on board to recognize that there is racism here. And our job is to find out where it exists. Versus like, we're gonna have to understand, are we inclusive? Are we not? How could we be better, right? There's like a really different tone to that work.
Yeah. So which one should companies focus on, like DEI or anti-racism?
I know, right? That's another really good questions that people ask. And there isn't like a single right answer for this. It really does depend on what the philosophy is that you have as an organization, and what outcomes you're seeking, right? So it's the same way that like DEI is not a one size fits all. Like choosing if you're doing anti-racism or DEI, it really is about like, what are we seeking to address? Are we seeking to address the experiences of people of color in our organization, or the people or the clients that we serve? You can also do both. Again, they're different things, and you might not prioritize at the same time, but you can be involved in DEI work and anti-racism work.
Okay.
And when you're in anti-racism work is inherent, DEI work is inherent in anti-racism work with the focus of race alone, right? So if you're doing anti-racism work, you're already doing some DEI work. It just is very focused on a particular population. And it's also done so with more attention to the systems that create racial bias and perpetuate racial bias and racial inequity.
So what about should industry be more focused on one or the other, like a nonprofit or tech?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really goes back to kind of what your organization is trying to accomplish within your industry. And even I think there are certain industries, or I would even say within the industry, the types of work that organizations do that are more aligned with like anti-racism work, just kind of inherently. Like if you're an advocacy organization that focuses on like criminal justice, well, then anti-racism, like philosophy, should be inherent in how you are operating, right? There's more space for that to exist because of the already documented ways that our criminal justice system is imbued with racial inequity. Whereas, like, if you're a tech company, there is actually a lot of opportunity for racial bias and the systematic racism to show up in how you do your work. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be your initial focus. You can also be doing DEI work and really focus on creating an inclusive environment for all, diversifying your teams, diversifying your reducing bias in your processes, so that even your product becomes better, becomes more accessible to lots of different populations of people. So it comes again back to the philosophy, and I would say there are certain types of work that are more, there's more inherent opportunity for anti-racism work than others.
Awesome. Well, that was great. I think that cleared up a lot of questions. And hey, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our DEI series. And, look out for us on the next one. Okay, take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.